Right now at 10, the Joplin Police Department is mourning the loss of a retired K-9 officer. Plus, the Joplin Public Library hosts a meet and greet with photographer Mitsu Harder. We'll take you there. Also, Bookhouse Cinema in Joplin hosted the Joplin Board Gamers. We're going to tell you what they're all about. And
authorities are moving forward with their investigation of the supermarket shooting as a racially motivated hate crime. I'm Kevin Rincon in Buffalo, New York, where we're learning more about the lives lost.
You're watching the KOAM News at 10, and it starts right now. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Chris Warner. We did have some strong to even severe thunderstorms earlier today. We start with Nick Kelly.
But once it cleared out, Chris, we have been treated with this. Nothing but clear skies, so all game is on for the lunar eclipse unfolding right now. And hard to believe that an hour ago, we didn't even see it really kick into full gear, but it's amazing to see that unfold. But let's head back close to the ground level from 7th and Range Line. 62, a mild start in the morning. 78 was the best we could do before thunderstorms plowed on through the Joplin area, pretty much the entire area. As advertised, they plowed on in to start the morning hours out, but once we got into the afternoon, the atmosphere was scrubbed out, and we didn't have to worry about any additional severe weather, or even strong storms for that matter. So we are dry on the radar network right now. Any severe weather ongoing is going to stay south of the region through the rest of the night. So our weather setup's looking pretty good for stargazing, eclipse gazing, whatever you have in mind. But just plan on a chilly start for your Monday morning. We'll drop back into the mid-50s with mostly sunny skies, but that light northeast breeze, Chris, means we'll go to 72 by noon, and still a bit warm, but not bad tomorrow with highs near 77. We'll see how the week ahead is shaping up here in a few. All
right, Nick, thank you. The Joplin Police Department is mourning the loss of one of their former members. JPD announced one of their retired K-9s, Pax, passed away peacefully this morning. Pax retired from the force in 2021 after having a successful career. During his time in the force, he had over 500 vehicle searches, 40 suspect apprehensions, and located 1,631.8 grams of meth. During his retirement, he lived at home with his handler, Officer Bobby Brown. Pax would have been 12 years old this year. Joplin Public Library had a special guest today. From murals, canvases, and even the walls and ceilings of her home, Mitsu Harder was a painter who loved to paint. After an accident that required her to have reconstructive surgery on both her hands, that left her not being able to have the mobility to do what she loved. She found photography as another way to show her artistic side, now having her art displayed all over the U.S. She's taking pictures of landscapes and historic buildings to show the beauty that we may pass every day.
I try to take pictures of things that we see every day that we pass, and we forget to see the beauty of it. And I just kind of bring it out so we can see it again in a different light.
If you want to check out more of Mitsu's artwork, just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, if you love board games, I know just the place for you. Bookhouse Cinema in Joplin. They host board game night twice a month. Whether you're a beginner, an expert, young or old, the Bookhouse has all kinds of games. You can also bring your own board game to teach others.
Normally I bring a bunch of games. It ranges from 5 to 8. And we have some serious games, and we have games that are great for beginners, otherwise known as gateway games.
Board game night at Bookhouse is hosted the first Thursday and third Sunday of each month. Residents of Buffalo, New York are mourning and searching for answers the day after a mass shooting left 10 people dead and 3 injured at a supermarket in a predominantly black neighborhood. The 18-year-old suspect, Peyton Gendron, is in custody and on suicide watch. CBS News correspondent Kevin Rincon is in Buffalo with the latest.
This is not open season on African Americans.
In Buffalo, there's grief and anger the day after a mass shooting left 10 dead and 3 injured.
The message that should be sent is we won't tolerate this.
Angry, upset, heartbroken.
Jerome Bridges says he was working in aisle 14 at the Tops Friendly Market when a gunman wearing armor and military-style clothing opened fire.
I started running, and then he stopped firing for a minute, reloaded, and started firing again.
Police say it took less than 2 minutes for officers to arrive and force the gunman, who was live streaming the rampage, to surrender.
This individual came here with the expressed purpose of taking as many black lives as he possibly could.
According to police, 11 of the 13 victims were black.
The evidence that we have uncovered so far makes no mistake that this is an absolute racist hate crime.
Dion Elliott lost his brother. He was at the store buying a cake for his son's birthday.
And now I have no brother. He's got no father. Is that fair?
This community lost an 86-year-old mother of a retired fire commissioner. They also lost the life of a police officer who was retired working as a security guard.
I can't say enough about our retired fellow colleague, Aaron Salter, who confronted this individual to save the lives of others, and may he rest in peace.
The suspect is in custody on suicide watch after pleading not guilty to a murder charge. Police say so far the investigation shows he acted alone. Kevin Rincon, CBS News, Buffalo, New York.
We take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Lewis Williams served in the Air Force from 1943 to 1945. He was awarded the Purple Heart. His hometown, Redfield, Kansas. We salute Technical Sergeant Lewis Williams, four-state hero. And remember, to learn more about our other heroes or nominate one of your own, you can do that at KOAMNewsNow.com. After the break, a study reveals details about the correlation between Latinos and ER wait times.
Tony's Garden Center.
We can't show this to you enough. Check it out. It's the Super Flower Blood Moon Lunar Eclipse. It is happening now. As you can see, it's just a little over halfway there. It's supposed to hit totality at about 11:11 tonight, with the full eclipse starting right about the end of our newscast. So take a step outside during the next break, of course, and take a peek for yourself. A new study finds that Latinos with chest pain have longer waiting times in the ER. Some researchers from Georgia say Hispanics across the country with chest aches experience longer wait times than other communities. The team analyzed the data of more than 11,000 people in the emergency room in 2020 and found Latinos waited more than an hour and a half for treatment compared to the usual hour other races and ethnic groups had. Scientists say some of the causes for these delays can be lack of health insurance, language barriers, and the absence of Hispanic health care professionals. According to an online report, Netflix exploring adding live streaming programming. Deadline says Netflix could roll out live streaming options for some of its content. The live streaming could be for unscripted and stand-up specials and could allow for live voting in shows like competitions and talent shows. Such shows might have a few seconds of delay in cases of off-color language or content. It's not yet known if Netflix could use live streaming for sports. Tonight, inflation is near a 40-year high. Global forces, from supply chain disruptions and severe weather to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, are fueling the surge and frustrations. Here's CBS's Mark Strassman.
With America's inflation anxiety already in overdrive, gas prices just sent blood pressures racing again. This weekend, the average price jumped to $4.45 a gallon. That's an all-time high. But beyond the pumps, millions are fed up with the cost of filling up everywhere they turn.
I had to go with something cheaper, and then the cheaper stuff is even higher now.
Others feel as though they're running on fumes.
I've never used the food banks before, but now I really almost have to come. I mean, it's changed very fast.
Millions need help ASAP, with food prices up again, both groceries and dining out. Airline tickets soaring, and most new cars come with one option: pay above sticker price. For millions of Americans, inflation pain hits home. Apartment rents nationally up 17% in 1 year, and here in Atlanta, up more than 20%. And new homes, America's median home price listing is up more than 14% in a year, more than 30% in 2 years. The Biden administration is searching for answers 6 months before midterm elections.
I want every American to know that I'm taking inflation very seriously, and it's my top domestic priority.
The Fed's under fire for a sluggish response. Most economists expected to raise baseline interest rates again, possibly more than once this summer. And no one expects a quick turnaround.
Prices will continue to rise. I think the best we can hope for at this point is that they rise a little less slowly than they have been lately.
Economists talk about overseeing a soft landing for this economy. hold inflation at 2%, keep the labor market strong, avoid a recession. But everyone agrees, as an American challenge, this one is daunting. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Atlanta.
Well, after weather, the Pittsburgh Police Department welcomes a new member to their force.
But first, we will break down what the storms did for today and what lies ahead for the week coming up. We had to deal with our share of rain and storms, especially during the morning hours and early afternoon, but thankfully Mother Nature, cooperating with us, cleared the skies out through the evening, and we are being left with what you see right before your very eyes. The really almost to the peak, just about, of our, I forgot the proper full name of this eclipse, but it is a lunar eclipse nonetheless. It should reach its peak by about the 11 o'clock hour. It is a sight to be seen, and a sight that we can finally take a hold of now as we head back inside. All these storms plowed quickly on through during the morning hours, and we've been left with any remnant thunderstorms very to the south of the region. As far as what the storms did, on the average, as far as rain goes, just over ½ an inch, but we have seen a couple of areas where we picked up penny to quarter size hail and some wind gusts and minor reports of wind damage overall in our corner of southwestern Missouri once the storms went past Interstate 44. But we are looking dry right now. And temperatures took a dip with these storms that passed on through, and the cold front as well. We went from the upper 80s the other day to lower 60s this morning. A quick jump near 80 late this morning, and then once the storms plowed on through, temperatures just held in the 60s and 70s all day. Looking good, not just from Indigo Sky outside of Seneca, Missouri, but from 7th and Rangeline as well. 62 degrees. A little bit of fog's trying to build, but I still believe that once we get some more drier air to work in behind this front, we're going to mitigate how bad some patchy areas of fog could get during the overnight. Most of us, though, lower to middle 60s, a few spots near 70 down in northeast Oklahoma. And speaking of Oklahoma, the southeastern corner of the state, and even working into Texas now, that's where any shot for severe weather for the rest of the night is going to stay. Our cold front continuing to press on through. We're getting behind the front for tomorrow to give us a break in the action. In addition to this upper level low that helps aid in our storm chances, that's clearing on out as well. But then we got a quick wave moving on shore to California coast. That's the next system we'll have to watch as we go into Tuesday. But again, tomorrow we're in between storm systems. We're still in the process of clearing one off the board. And then through the rest of the night, we're looking good. Generally mostly clear skies overall, maybe a few areas of patchy fog to start the overnight out, but I still expect mostly clear skies and a chilly start to your Monday morning. Lows dropping back across the region to about 56 degrees with mostly sunny skies throughout the day. A light northeast breeze will go to 72 for downtown Joplin at the noon hour, topping out around 77. In fact, I think everybody will top out in the upper 70s overall tomorrow. Still a bit above normal, but a lot better than the 80s and the mugginess that we've seen throughout the past week and a half or so. So we're good for Monday. Then that quick system coming on shore in California comes in on Tuesday. Maybe a few storms Tuesday morning, but I think the better shot with storms with this system comes late Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday night. Then that clears out. We're generally quiet Wednesday and Thursday, but warming back into the mid-80s. Then the next big system in Doug's pattern comes our way Friday, late Friday, and going into Saturday. Depending on how that system tracks out, that could potentially be our next best shot, if you want to call it that, for some severe weather. In the meantime, though, again, we're dry tonight, dry tomorrow, looking good with highs near 77. Let's go 80 on Tuesday, mid-80s through the middle of the week. And depending on how the temperatures play out, Chris, we could be seeing highs in the mid-60s to about 70 next Saturday and Sunday with that next system making a play for us.
I'm looking forward to that. And we're actually, there's that lunar eclipse continues. You mentioned earlier
that's what we're all looking forward to on the drive home soon.
Oh, yeah, it's going to make its peak at 11:11 tonight, so you got some time. Hey, something else we want to remind everybody about is with the impending storms through the week and what we saw today, now is the time to get that KOAM Skywatch weather app. You get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone. They're free of charge, available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. All you need to do is search for the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Well, the Pittsburgh Police Department has announced the addition of a new canine officer to their force. Roan is a 2-year-old German Shepherd brought in from Poland. Roan will be paired with Officer Zachary Dainty. Together, they completed a 6-week certification course through Patriot Canine and are certified in narcotics detection, human trafficking, and suspect apprehension. Coming up in sports, Crowder Rough Riders keeping their postseason alive. Region champs, they're now headed to New Orleans for the district tournament. We're going to take a look at the all-region team and hear from head coach Lallemand next.
This is the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. The Crowder Rough Riders won the Region 16 title on Saturday following a 7-1 victory over Jefferson. It's the 3rd straight region championship for the Rough Riders. They faced some adversity throughout the weekend. Here's Coach Lallemand on how his team dealt with that adversity en route to the championship.
We definitely earned this one. I mean, it was hard fought, and in the St. Charles game we were down 3 twice and came back. So a lot of resilience there, and then obviously Miz was dominant in game 2 against Jeffco, so that made it a little easier. And then all of a sudden, you know, get popped 12-11 and have to play for 6 hours. But the guys responded, and that's what I tell them all the time is the one thing that championship teams do is they respond.
Here's a look at the Rough Riders who made the All-Region team. Josh Patrick and Peyton Holt are named first-team All-Region as infielders, while Jake Wilson earns first-team All-Region recognition as a pitcher, and pitcher Jacob Mizarowski is named the Player of the Year. The Rough Riders advance to the South Central District Tournament in New Orleans. Crowder will face Eastern Oklahoma in Game 1 on Friday at noon. Still ahead, a pair of Game 7s in the NBA Conference semifinals tonight. Plus, the Royals look to take the series from the Rockies. Highlights next. Welcome back to the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. Kansas City on the tail end of a long road trip. The Royals play the Rockies today in the series finale. Series tied at 1 game apiece. Picking it up in the 7th, Bobby Witt Jr. goes deep on the first pitch. His 3rd home run of the season, 4-0 Royals. Royals extend their lead to 6, but the Rockies rally. This one back to the warning track. It's caught. Sackfly scores the go-ahead run for Colorado. They lead 7-6. 9th inning, Salvador Perez wins it for the Royals. Lines one into left, 2-run score. Kansas City manages to get the win 8-7. The Cardinals are 3 games back from the division-leading Brewers. St. Louis hosting San Francisco for Game 3. Hot start for the home team. They score 4 runs in the first, 4 more in the 4th, and they just keep pouring it on. Cards win 15-6. Yadier Molina goes 2 for 3 with a home run and 4 RBI. Paul Goldschmidt and Andrew Kisner each drive in 3. Game 7 today in the Eastern Conference semifinals. The Celtics are coming off a 13-point road win in Game 6. Boston aiming to finish it off at home. They're down 2 with 2 to go in the half. Jason Tatum ties it up at 40. 3rd quarter, Celtics up big now. Tatum spins, finds Jaylen Brown all alone for the 3. Then Grant Williams gets it on the baseline, throws down the dunk. 1 minute to go here in the 3rd. Drew Holiday finds Giannis with a full court lob and jam. Bucks still down by double digits though. 4th quarter, Tatum finds Williams. He sinks the 3, career high 27 points for Williams. And the Celtics set a Game 7 record with 22 3-pointers. Boston is headed to the conference final, blowing out Milwaukee 109-81. In the West, it's also a Game 7, Dallas against Phoenix. Ugly game in Phoenix. The Suns get stomped on their home court. Luka Doncic drops 35. The Mavericks win 123-90. They'll face Golden State in the conference finals. We're back right after this.
As the summer movie season gets going, which movies won the top 5 this weekend? Rick Damigella has the countdown.
Mrs. Wang, hello.
Everything Everywhere All at Once continues its run at 5th place with $3.3 million.
Where's Mommy?
She has no aim without sight if she's like the rest of us.
The remake of Stephen King's Firestarter failed to ignite the box office, bringing in $3.8 million on the low end of industry predictions. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 stayed in 3rd place on ticket sales of $4.6 million, and The Bad Guys made off with 2nd and $6.9 million. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness held on to number 1 for a 2nd weekend with $61 million. Follow-up visits to the Doctor did see a less than magical 67% drop in ticket sales over its debut weekend. The Marvel Adventures box office totals are now at $292 million domestic and $688 million worldwide. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
We can't look, you can barely see it now. The lunar eclipse happening. It's the super flower blood moon lunar eclipse. It's happening right now. According to the site timeandday.com, eclipse began around 8:32 this evening. Total eclipse is actually started about 2 minutes ago, and it's going to reach its peak at 11:11, so you've still got some time to get out there, and it's of course a good excuse to stay up a little bit later tonight.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Quick final check of the forecast.
We are looking good for the rest of the night. Maybe some patchy fog for some, but we are dry. We're enjoying temperatures tomorrow. Mid-50s in the morning, 77 tomorrow. Next chance of storms coming in Tuesday.
All right, Nick, Danny, thank you. It's our time for now. Before we go, we're going to leave you with some lunar eclipse fun. We'll see you back here next weekend. Thanks so much for making us part of your night.